goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hello, Deep Mindfulness Collective. This right here, right now, is the joy of being a live stream coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. Folks, what a delight. What a shock. I'm actually able to be here. I'm very grateful for everyone who is able or willing, willing to be patient while I was traveling, etc. And then we only did one live stream, and now we're back. Yada yada. I feel like everything sounds worse when you just use the yada yada voice. And then we won $1 million, and then we got a free gift island in Thailand. So, folks, lovely to be here with you. Very excited that we get to practice together today. It's been a long, long time. Where is the boop, 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 boop. Where's the doc? Chat. Let's see the chat. Hello. Let's see. Where am I at? What am I grateful for? Friends and amazing weather. It's been such nice weather. I mean, this is, you've probably heard me say this before, but this is the time in New York City weather that I refer to as the, alcoholic husband bringing home flowers and the thought, maybe he does love me. This is the period of time when people are like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I do want to live in this city. And maybe it's not really hard and difficult. Okay. Adjust the mic. Excellent. Okay, folks. Excellent, excellent. Okay, folks, we're going to meditate today. We're going to meditate on the emptiness of equanimity, emptiness and equanimity, the two together. And hopefully that's a lot of fun. Let me know if you're here. Where are you at? What are you grateful for? Where are you at? What are you grateful for? Hit me in the chat and we'll go from there. I exclusively eat and drink, actually, out of reused kimchi jars. Indiana, friends and old and new, excellent. Bath water. This is not bath water. It is like, I don't know if you can tell, it's like kind of like off-colored. It is electrolyte water. Salty lemonade, basically. Yeah. So, folks, we're going to meditate here. I want folks to hit me with, where are you at? What are you grateful for? Cat Letterbox here from Zurich, Switzerland. Grateful for art. Aaron here from Indiana. Old and new friends. Excellent. Wonderful. Yeah, grateful for art. I just saw this project. I don't know if I can show it on screen. It was very impressive. It was a long video, but it's this very impressive public art thing in, oops, there it is. Turn that way down. So I'll just, let's see, let's bring that to the foreground here. And where's the little slider? It's right here. So if you speed it up, it's much more interesting. So it's this, I think these things are moving incredibly slowly. Oh, that's my app telling me that I've run out of time on this app today. I only have 15 minutes. So, let's see here. Yes, this big mechanical spider, big mechanical bull. I have a feeling they're moving monstrously slowly, these things. But anyway, it was pretty cool. Big old thing running around the streets of France. Okay, Julia Temple, welcome. Good to see you here. Hi, Julia Temple, tuning in from India. Grateful for space, internal, external, figurative, and the ones between the stars. You know, it's funny when you said that. I was like, I thought you were going to refer to. I thought the first thing you said was internet. I was like, oh, internet space. Interesting. I misread that. Wow, Alex is here. Welcome, Alex. Nice to see you. Hi, upper left USA for impermanence. Wonderful. Grateful, grateful. Okay, folks, we want to meditate here, and we're going to be meditating, like I said, on emptiness. How did I want to do today's guided meditation? On equanimity and emptiness. So this might be familiar. This is actually going to be a facet of something we've talked about many times. We're going to explore, beep, 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 beep. We're going to explore the facet of basically awareness that doesn't need anything to be different. Of course, we've looked at this before, but we're really going to soak into this. This is development of equanimity. If there are any parts of us that do want anything to be different, we just welcome them to that space. But we're observing the aspect of this space that doesn't need anything to be different. And by contrast, obviously, the distraction that'll arise, or the thing that'll seem like it's opposed to the meditation, is things that do want things to be different. So we can come at this from one of two ways. Observing the experience that doesn't need anything to be different. If we can connect with that, wonderful, just like staying with that, letting that space permeate any part of our experience. The sort of emptiness itself, noticing the emptiness does not need anything to be different in any way. And then the other way we can come at it is notice everything that is wants to be different. It's all this stuff is like trying to change, and that will often sometimes push us into observing from the perspective of that which does not need anything to change. I want to make sure that we use that on any self or any sense of me or I that is, observer or anything like that, that's still remaining in the whole process. So with that, folks, let's meditate here, and then we'll do Q&A afterwards. I have something stuck in my teeth, so I'm going to hide this, and you don't know what I'm doing back here. What could I be doing? I could be doing anything. So get in that nice, comfortable position so you can meditate in relative stillness. And then we're going to go from there. Folks, so I'm going to encourage you to have your knees lower than your hips, to find a position that you can maintain without moving for the duration of the sit. And we'll go from there. Currently, my puppy is right outside the door, and my puppy is probably going to be very, very quiet right up until the moment we start the meditation. Then my puppy's going to start making sounds. It's really, I'm amazed sometimes at how intuitive she is. As soon as the meditation starts, it's like the drilling. It's like everything's quiet, and then the bell rings, and it's time for the sounds. Okay, folks, so find that comfortable position. When you're ready, we will begin. Take a sip before I start. It really was, if you guys remember when we were really in that construction universe, woof, that was crazy. I couldn't believe the degree to which it was like so accurate. No drilling. We'd hit the live button, and I swore they were like watching the live stream. I was like so certain. They're like, oh, live stream's on. I was like, crazy. It's not like a normal time to start work either. It was like 11 in the morning. So it's like, anyway. Okay, folks, here we go. I have to remember this now. Welcome to the Deep Mindfulness Collective. If you need more information, you can find it at deepmindfulness.io. Beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths. Just feeling the body rise and fall. And as we begin the meditation, as we have many times, I'd like you to begin by letting any and all experiences arise as being empty, letting awareness pass through them. So as we begin to sweep through the body to be sure we're not holding any undue tension, as you detect the sensations of the top of the head, as you relax the brow, as you relax the muscles behind the eyes, let awareness pass through these sensations, letting go of their seeming solidity experientially, letting that be a kind of vapor that awareness can pass through. And if there's a remainder of the face, as we allow the face to go smooth, if there's a remainder of the back of the tongue, as we relax there and let the jaw go slack, if there's a remainder of the neck and throat, letting awareness pass right through it. Relaxing the shoulders and the arms. As you relax the wrists and hands, letting awareness pass through these sensations. You may even notice that doing this makes these sensations be less central, less located where we think they might be. This is because the sense of location is one of mental seeing, the mind locating, and as we allow awareness to more freely flow, this sense of location breaks down. Noticing the breathing of the upper chest and upper back as the breath comes and goes. And as you begin to sweep through the torso, eventually relaxing the belly and the lower back, letting any sense of solidity of the body, letting awareness pass right through that. Relaxing the hips and the upper legs, the knees and calves, the ankles, and relaxing the feet. And then relaxing the entire body all together. Letting awareness pass through any and all experience that arises, including itself, including any sense of a doer or a viewer. And first attending to any and all experiences that would change anything about this moment. We have a variety of parts, of drives, of selves that are pushing and pulling, wanting and not wanting, liking and disliking. So noticing those as an aspect of this experience. We can allow those to be part of the whole, or we can allow awareness itself to simply pass through these. This might be the exact same process, depending on our experience. And whatever is arising, letting awareness simply pass through. Any sense of space or time. And as we begin to familiarize ourselves with this process, there's a kind of feel that goes with it, a kind of letting go of the mind, where that quality or object is just sort of relaxed. Over and over again, allowing any sense of solidity to just be relaxed within the system. Any sense of solidity often comes with it a sense that it needs to be solid in this way. It's supposed to be like that. Of course it's like that. So we're simply letting that material melt into the totality. And we can also simply be aware of those aspects of our experience that don't need anything to be different. Anything that is known by awareness, an awareness that doesn't need anything to change. If this moment were just like this for the rest of eternity, there's an aspect of our experiencing that would be fine with that. And this is what we simply call awareness. This is part of the kind nature of awareness. It doesn't need anything to be different. this is where a practice like this ties in with a non-doing practice. Awareness doesn't need to do anything, doesn't need to change anything, doesn't need to meditate. So if we consider all of those drives within us that do want these things, that want to improve, it's natural, that want to grow or change the world or feel discontented, these are all natural forces. So to let these forces function without a need for them to change, this is the nature of equanimity. A recognition that who we are at the deepest level is awake awareness, awareness that does not need anything to be different. At times we become convinced that we are a portion of our experience, something that needs the world to be different, that divides the world into itself, which has a need, and a universe around it, which is either indifferent or in opposition to its need. And this is nature, to become identified with these drives. But we are liberated by the fact that this is simply part of nature. So we can experience this equanimity as empty, nothing having a fixed form, the sense of a fixed form being itself a kind of drive, a kind of nama or mental division of the world. And any one of those mental divisions itself can simply be passed through with this spacious awareness. And we can also experience this Awake awareness is a kind of fullness, everything. Every possibility expressing itself all at once. No need for something to be more important than another. The birth, the becoming, we can observe our experience as being born of emptiness. As it comes into existence, it is transparent. We can also see as things exist, as they seem to persist, they are at the same time empty. Not just as they are born into this moment, but as they seem to be present, noticing the sense of them being here present, continuing, sense of this ongoing nature of experience, time. And letting even that sense of time itself be transparent. Noticing those moments when that time, that chronometer, that unconscious observation of the ongoing nature of each experience, that itself begins to distort or even slow down or stop. Anything that remains, to see it as empty. The observer, the sense of a consciousness. See the potential depth. Whatever remains, to let it release. Any sense of the emptiness, let that be transparent. Any sense of the duality or non-duality, let that be transparent. Staying with the practice, staying in stillness. If the eyes are closed, allowing a little bit of light to enter, eventually allowing them to rest on a single point as they fully open. Letting the emptiness of the space of seeing inform us of the depth that this emptiness can provide. And in this way, letting this particular moment be the great teacher that shows us how we might bring this practice into every aspect of our life. Okay. Allow yourself to do a little stretch. Whew. Okay, folks. Straighten out my background. Folks, what was that like? What happened? What do you like now? And hit me in the chat what that experience was like. Use those digits, my favorite digital technology, and hit me up with what that experience was like, what happened, what you're like now. Or you can hit me in the Discord, and we'll chit-chat. Chit-chat like kitty cats. I just thought to myself, why don't I hear any other meditation teachers using that phrase? So weird. Okay. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, we now have enabled text chat in the voice channels, so you can do both. Let's see if that happens. That works in our. Let's see, where is this? I feel like I wish I could color code these things because I just can't tell what's what. There we go. Oh, there's 2 people in here already. There we go. Boom. Just Andy and Aaron. Welcome to the Discord. First, we're going to jump in with Julia Temple's report. Then we're going to jump to our Discord folks. So hang tight for a moment, folks in Discord. Julia Temple says the following.
Solidity changed a lot on observation. Things got more and less solid. Some senses of self tried to take over the whole of awareness and then dissolved.
Nice.
Second half of the sit was very calm except for some kriyas.
Great. I know those kriyas are a lot. Kriyas, if anyone doesn't know, is like involuntary movements in the body. I'm not a big like energy person, although I more and more, I hate them. I'm so skeptical. And so I hate that I'm like, it's actually becoming more and more like logical. I just need a way to talk about it that is more like hands-on and not more like mystical. But it does seem like there's physical like stuff in the body that's like musculature and, you know, physical energy and stuff like that. That does seem to be working itself out often. Often trauma will work itself out by just like moving the body or yawning or stretching or coughing or throwing up or whatever. So yeah, so I really hope, I'm curious about people's experience around emptiness because it's such a weird concept, but once you experience it, it's like, wait, it's all experiences are pregnant with this thing of emptiness. And this is what is meant in Zen when they say form is emptiness and emptiness is form. That's what's up. Okay, we have several people. Aaron has their hand up. So Aaron, we're going to put you into speaker view here. Feel free to jump in. You're ready to roll. Wait, are you? Yeah, there you are.
I am ready, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, that was good. I noticed, especially paying attention to the emptiness, and then your cue that you've mentioned a few times now about seeing everything being like born or reborn. As I do this practice and I first expand into awareness, I notice kind of individual sensations within awareness, kind of being born and reborn, and then the emptiness in that as they fade away. And then as I continue and more, all of those things merge more and more with awareness. It feels eventually like just awareness itself is, like as a whole, is being born and reborn and fading into emptiness and just sort of, I don't know, like fading in and out.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it feels, I think that what part of what you're describing is this phase where it feels like awareness itself is a sort of like, I don't even know what you like a turbulent sort of world, like it's like becoming and non-becoming, and like it's just sort of doing this dance. I don't know if that's what you're describing, but that's a lot of what my experience is that at one stage it feels like awareness has this sort of everything is like sort of tumbling on itself. Things are appearing, but they're just like getting consumed into emptiness, and then they're appearing, and it's sort of this dance in that way. Is that similar to what you're describing, or is it a little different?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I keep coming back to the thought of like white noise or like snow on a television, where it's just everything is just like turbulent, like you said. It's just constantly flickering in and out, and there's not even so much a sense of, oh, I hear that sound of a bird and the sound of a car and this mental image. It's all just sort of data that's all just sort of coming in and out of existence like that.
And so you get you start to get my metaphor that I'll use about the like sand communicator from Black Panther. You remember that when I talked? Yeah. So basically, if anyone hasn't heard this before, like if you've seen the movie, there's like, it's like they have this thing. It's like a 3D communicator, and they'll appear, and like it's as though I appeared and I'm like, hello, I'm here to tell you about a message about an army coming, but I'm like made of sand. And then as soon as the communication is over, it goes poof, and it turns back into a pile of sand on the ground. When we start to see everything as this sort of like field of material that is empty, that is arising within emptiness, we realize like, oh, the sense of solidity is just the same material, just organized. And then the same material just sort of breaks apart and becomes like spaciousness, and then organizes again, and then breaks apart and becomes spacious. So something I'm going to recommend that you do is, as you're this is like a slightly different thing, as you're noticing anything, even if it's vague what it is, appearing into consciousness, being born, in a way it's like as though there's like the floor of consciousness, and then things are rising through it. Let that floor of consciousness be this sort of like filter that anything that comes through it is empty. So that like its solidity itself, you can just see through it as it's arising. Does that instruction make sense, or is that like super vague?
Kind of.
So here's a silly metaphor. I'm okay. I don't know if you've ever done this before. I'm going to see if I have this on my phone still. Oh yeah, I think I do. I think I still have this. Where is this? It's like way buried because I don't ever play games. Where is this dumb game? Oh, here it is. Okay. They have a number of these games. So let's see if I can get this game to start. This is like a good metaphor. Okay. Cover my face so it'll work. Okay. So I hold this ball, and now this ball's moving, right? It's like moving. It will go, if it hits one of the red things, it's a white ball, so if it hits a red thing, it dies, right? Or it's a blue ball or something. So now it's going, and I have to steer it around. I can't really do it in the image, but so if I can get around these goddamn things, I can't. Okay, sorry. I forgot that that's like a later stage in the game. But at some point in the game, you have this white ball, and it's sort of moving along. And anyone who's familiar with these stupid games on your phone, there's always like a fence that you have to pass through. And when you pass through the fence, the ball, the fence is red, so it changes to now a red ball, and you have to do the opposite of the same game. Do you get the idea that like this thing's moving along, and as it passes through this sort of laser barrier, it changes to be the other color, whatever is in the game, and now you're playing with a red ball and a white field. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine? So what we're talking about here is that kind of thing, except it's right at the moment things are appearing into this particular moment, and the filter is one of emptiness. You're just letting things come through and immediately seeing them as empty. And the more you can do
Okay.
that, the second they're coming in, you're just seeing them as empty. You're sort of you're changing it from like, okay, there's an object, and now I see it and it's empty. It's that as soon as things are appearing, they're appearing as like stardust in that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm
So just
not sure if I.
try to do that. Basically, in a sense, it's like do a new practice, and as things are arising as new, observe that they are empty. And at first, it'll just be like you're just here's the floor of consciousness, and they get this high, and then you see them as empty. But eventually, it'll sort of be like the floor of consciousness itself is like taking things in as this sort of empty field.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds great. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to ask what to do with that next, and
Yeah.
that sounds perfect. So
Great.
yeah, I'll definitely work with that.
Maybe that's what I'll guide in the next live stream. Is that exact thing? But it's also that
Okay.
today. It's funny because today's meditation had like I used to do it so that one meditation would be one topic period. Like you do not like it's one thing and you just explore that one thing. But now I've started to make the meditations like a kind of melange, where it's like, oh, you do this. This is one way to approach it, and then this is another way to approach it, and you can use any one of those or cycle through. So that just tends to be the way, so that one meditation now has like 3 sets of instructions, so you can use kind of any one of those. So yeah, wonderful.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks for that.
absolutely. I'm going to pop you into the audience here. I'm going to jump to our next person, which I can't tell which order they're in because they are just all right. I'm going to pop you into the audience. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, I'm just going to go by alphabetical. I apologize. Wait, it's you guys should be able to chat now in voice channels, but maybe this isn't considered a voice channel because it's a live channel. Anyway, okay. I'm going to go to Just Andy came into the room first, so I'm going to go to Just Andy next. You are invited to speak. Hello, sir.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, perfectly.
Yeah, so I came to the meditation like 5 minutes late, but I noticed that we were doing body scanning, like body scanning relaxation, so I did that. And then as we were going to like the kind, open awareness and hope, noticed there was like a pleasant idea just came arise, and I was kind of like writing on it for a bit, and at the around like 15-minute mark, you talk about like equanimity and emptiness. And I was like, oh, let me bring it back to like sort of like a more neutral state. And in my head, I was like contemplating, like, oh, is it wrong that I noticed or was writing on this pleasant ideas and stuff like that? And I noticed there was a sense of a doubter, doubt that arise
Yep.
was the object. And then I was like, oh, let me drop that. And then once I dropped the doubt, I was like, oh, it's sort of like there is no right or wrong. It's sort of like it's just plain, I don't know, like always elevated neutral in a sense.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. So just to give you the precursor that I gave folks before, so it was an equanimity practice just generally, and the body scan that we started with, I'll give you the background so you can have a little context. Was not that you didn't do it right or something, but was that we were looking at any sensation in the body as we were scanning through as empty, just letting awareness pass right through that, which is basically how we did the whole practice. So it's fine, but as you're observing that now, your experience from before and how you experience this moment, whatever is arising, letting awareness pass through it, just like a transparency over and over again, and noticing that there's a degree to which we don't need that thing that passes through doesn't need anything to be different. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah, and but that's exactly right. That there can be a sense of, oh, there is nothing. I can't do something wrong here. I'm just observing, or the observing is occurring on its own in that way. Yeah, yeah, awesome. And what was the other thing that I wanted to mention? Observing. Oh yeah, there's an interesting thing that happens where the way that you can imagine a world where someone would become so neutral internally that they'd feel like, well, if there's no right or wrong internally, and I'm truly accepting what's happening, like, then externally I can kind of just do what I want, because why not? Like, morality is also neutral, right? I experience morality as just something that is another rising, phenomena that is empty. But really what we want to gear ourselves towards is that internally our sort of ideal setting is 0, and externally our ideal setting is +1, meaning we are trying to improve ourselves in the world, in our actions and our thoughts and deeds, and that's actually more supportive of having an internal state of 0, is actually trying to support ourselves, be moral, improve the world in that way. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because we just don't want to get caught in this thing of like, we truly see neutrality, so now it's okay to like lie and steal and cheat and stuff like that. The story is that the samurai, the danger is that like samurai were like, well, I'm serving the emperor, and the emperor is just like just a sort of a conduit to God, and the emperor says that these people are, that we need to eliminate these people, and I'm emptiness, and my sword is emptiness, and they're emptiness, and so it's just emptiness moving through emptiness. Like this is not unethical. This is actually righteous. This is the right thing to do. So we just want to be careful about, like, you can use deep neutrality as a way to do unethical things.
I understand.
Yeah, so we just,
Thank you.
not that you're on the cusp of doing that, but it just reminded me. Awesome. Thank you.
It sort of reminds me like Star Wars, like the whole Jedi and like
Exactly.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I feel like I really would love to do, maybe, I mean, if I ever had time, I would do like a really in-depth thing of like Jedi and like Dharma, because, and I'm sure somebody probably has, but basically there is a degree to which Jedi stuff is still pretty Puritan, where it's like, attachment is wrong. Like, we shouldn't have attachments. We shouldn't have loved ones. And it's like, no, attachment is empty too. Having loved ones and having connections and things that we love are also empty. If we can see those things as empty, and we can see them and let those things come and go and be transparent, we can effectively have them. It's just trickier. It's much trickier in life to have the thing that we crave and see it as transparent and act ethically than it is to swear things off and be like, okay, I'm not going to ever have contact with those things. And that swearing off is a kind of duality. Like, early Buddhism has a lot of duality in it. But then again, if you look at like, what is it called? Crises, or like ethical misconduct. It is very true that early Buddhism has the fewest of these sort of ethical misconduct sort of allegations. If you look at the traditions in our modern era, largely because like the real monks, like they can't touch money. They can't be in a room alone with a woman at all. It's just not even allowed. So it gets into this tricky territory where it's like, well, sure, you can have more and have more of a layperson's life, but then you then get into the ethical quandaries of like, how do you manage that? Like, what do you do? Awesome. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to pop you in the audience here. Thank you so much for that report. Now, next we have Julia Temple. Welcome, Julia Temple. And other folks, if you want to put stuff in the chat, feel free.
Hi.
Hi, hello.
Hi, so this is about the Kriyas.
Okay, great.
Um, so for me, this is like just like a jerking movement, right? So maybe my arm goes tense or maybe my leg, and I observe that, and then I release the tension, right? It voluntarily,
Yep.
and then it goes tense again. So this it repeats a lot, and it's for instance, when I was doing Burmese position, but my leg would jerk, and it was sort of be damaging my kneecap really because all this movement, it's not good.
Yep.
And so I tried this weird thing where I would just not release the tension. Like my arm goes tense,
Yep.
and I just leave it and see what happens. And it's kind of weird to me because I guess my frame is we want to release tension.
Yep.
But it's a really interesting experience because my mind goes very calm.
Good.
So let's say, usually my main practice is focusing on the whole body, more like a concentration practice,
Yep.
really. And now I'm in this situation where I have like 3 tense muscles, and everything else is super calm. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what to make of that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so I would that was actually my next question was, look, I'm curious about the part that thinks you're supposed to release muscles or release tension. I think that it's important that we take care of our bodies. So if you have one, you're practicing and your muscle just wants to be tense and sort of like locked up here while you're practicing, well, that's fine. When you're done practicing, just make sure to do some nice shoulder stretches to make sure everything's open and you're not like creating some like real weird habit. And it would be ideal if you just let whatever happens happen. Just let whatever the sort of, okay, this thing's sort of jerking and moving. Okay, I'm not going to do anything about that. It's just something I have to allow to process as part of the meditation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess what tripped me up was the whole like switch to the voluntary, because like I felt like I'm voluntarily, it's an involuntary movement, but then I'm like voluntarily sort of maintaining the tension.
Okay.
And that's why I felt it was more in the spirit of the practice to let it go.
Well, but
there's,
what I'm suggesting is just don't intervene, whatever.
yeah,
If it tenses on its own, don't intervene. If it relaxes on
yeah,
its own, don't intervene.
that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
this is great.
you're just basically, there is an intention, and it's basically to maintain roughly the posture. But if there's twitches and moves and things like that, you're really just letting those. Okay, they happen. It tightens involuntarily. Maybe it relaxes involuntarily. Maybe it doesn't. Just try that for a little bit. Again, I want to caution to not injure the body, but that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, this is super great.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear
Thanks a lot.
how it unfolds.
Great.
Awesome, cool. Okay, well, I'll see you very soon. I want to hear about what happens.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'll pop you into the audience here. Okay, wonderful, folks. Okay, we have a couple here, comments here in the chat. Alex says the following.
Interesting to see each thing dissolve into neutral non-existence when introduced to equanimous awareness. Hard to describe, but emptiness is feeling more palpable.
Right.
Illusory form practice from dream yoga is a good adjunct.
Illusory form practice from dream yoga. I don't know that. What illusory form? Oh, illusory form practice. I think I do remember. So go ahead and let me know if you have any clarifications on what exactly that is. But I'm very curious about that because I think I know what that is. But that's good to hear from someone who's done it more frequently than me.
Just to mention, there are Grey Jedi, which is aligned between the light and dark side, but more towards the Jedi's path.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, Aaron says, maybe we should start our own pragmatic Jedi order. That's a good idea. Love the thought of joining a Jedi order. Well, it's funny. I anyone who's like knows how to run a business would be like, you don't talk about your Patreon enough. You don't. But it's funny because in my Patreon, it's all Jedi levels. It's like, $5 a month is like Padawan, and then like, kind of goes up into like Jedi Master who's donating X amount. But it's funny to tie that to income, but it was just it's just like a playful way to talk about those levels. So I never talk about my Patreon. My Patreon is like a whatever. I don't use it. I should. Again, part of the reason why we're trying to organize this thing, so it's more than just me trying to pull every lever all the time, because that's crazy and it doesn't work. Alex also says,
appreciating the life-easing relationship between emptiness and equanimity. Kriyas continue here also. It can be slightly distracting, but I don't mind, as it feels like nature is working out my kinks for me.
Yeah, that's actually something I was going to mention to Julia, is that it just becomes, in a sense, another distraction, but that's fine. Distractions are nature. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, this distraction, the body's jerking. It just means that you're lifting more weight than someone who can be in like total stillness. Great, your practice is going to develop faster. So, awakening beho. Okay, folks, any other questions, comments, queries, challenges, or life concerns, feel free to hit me in the chat or in the Discord. I should jump off. It's puppy time coming soon. So anything last remainder, hit me right now, or forever hold your pizza. Beep, 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 beep. What am I looking for? Oh, this. Okay. Wonderful. So folks, lovely to be here with you as always. Thank you everyone so much for your patience with the live stream, because it's like, it's a, what is it called? I do it when I can. I try to do it 3 times a week, but if I can't, I just can't be here. And it's funny. I had started the stream on Monday. I was like, yes, I'm back. I can't wait to do this meditation we did today. And as I was like 2 minutes before the thing started, I was like, is my doorbell ringing? It's like weird to have a doorbell in New York, but it's like, it's ringing. And then I go out there and they're like, hey, we're here from the building. We're supposed to, I was like, you guys are supposed to come tomorrow. And they're like, we have today scheduled. I was like, oh. So I had to like immediately stop the stream and whatever. So folks, lovely to be here with you as always. If you don't know already, you can support the stream at no cost to yourself. Literally, you can support the stream financially. If you have Amazon Prime, they will just, it's good. Take money away from Amazon. You can just subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. It says subscribe, yeah. And then it takes money away from Amazon. Think of it that way. And it gives money to us. So feel free to do that, or just subscribe in general. We love that. Or if not, just follow and let us know how life is and how we can be helpful. Greetings to Willow. Willow could do the meditation when you're not around. That's a great idea. I should just do puppy cam. You know what I wonder if that's possible to do a replay, but it's like you have another image overlaid on top of that. I don't know if you can, but that might be a good idea, is to have like a, maybe it's I just play the guided meditation again and I just have puppy cam and just Willow sort of like wandering around in her pen. Thank you so much, everyone. Great to be here with you as always. I'm glad it's accessible. That's my whole goal, is make this stuff easy and fun. Folks, lovely to be here with you as always. Let's listen to some music. Folks, what a delight it's been here to be here with you. Don't forget that as we enter this final stage of the live stream, that no matter how much you think it's not true, emojis still appear on the screen. Keep in mind, these are the emojis that are from the Twitch platform. Phone emojis and stuff like that doesn't work, but the Twitch ones do. So folks, lovely to be here with you as always. It's been such a delight. In this particular moment, take a moment to see everything that is rising, including these emojis and your desire to put tons and tons of emojis in the chat. All of those as empty, transparent, awake themselves. Folks, lovely to be here with you as always. And as always, practice well, take care of each other, have fun, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye.